basic idea, the fundamental idea is that the film as a work of art expresses something about human existence, and if it is honest, then its expression of human existence will also indicate something, propose something, examine something about human transcendence, about the human being's thrust, movement towards God. Now, in the case of a film about Jesus, we're talking about the incarnation of God, but in those other films, we're talking about the human experience of human transcendence towards the divine. As you can see, we've got videos here. These happen to be mostly of Krzysztof Kieślowski, and our interest here is how Kieślowski uses film to express moral issues, to talk about moral issues, to examine moral issues. Who is man? Who is the human being? How does the human being relate to other human beings, which of course also means how the human being relates to God. One of the particular angles that I use to examine these films of human experience of God, is the extra-diegetical. Marshall McLuhan, the Canadian philosopher of media, said the medium is the message. And one of the things I do in my courses is to go beyond the mere content of a film. Certainly the content of a film is important, but the style of the film is also important. How the director organizes that content to express something. I propose, for example, that it's possible to have a film about Jesus, which is not at all a religious film because of the style in which it is made. And I would also propose that we can have a film made about purely secular realities, purely secular experience, which because of its style, I'm thinking of the films of Bresson, a film because of its style, through technical things, through formal choices of the director, becomes a religious film. So in a certain sense, I would maintain there is even a theological style or a religious style to making films.
This course on communication ethics in a democratic state focuses on the various normative theories of communication, like authoritarian, libertarian, and state control theories. And later it suggests that these theories are not sufficient if a fuller practice of the media is required. The newer theories suggested are social responsibility theory, public service theory, and communitarian theory. The practice of these help to promote a better service in society through the media. The real problem is the practice of ethics is difficult. In a situation where corruption has reached every fiber of our society, media people too are corrupt. And we ask in a seminar-like fashion, how exactly can one practice ethics in the media situation that we are in today? This course, titled Research into Development Communication, focuses on two aspects. The first part is about communication itself, how in the very concept of communication, development is ingrained. We suggest that listening is a very important aspect. This listening means understanding the people, understanding how and why they are what they are, which gives the communicator a deep understanding of how development messages can be reached to the people. Secondly, the course also looks at how media, different kinds of media, even the modern technologies, can be used to deliver development messages. The second part of the course focuses much on group media, participatory media, traditional forms of media, and how interactive messages can be shared and people can be made more and more aware of their situation so that they take action to change themselves. This is a concept of development. We look at the various theories that have been expounded in various parts of the world, especially the third world, and see how the students can participate in a process of development back in their own country.
Ideologia, egemonia, cultura di massa sono i termini fondamentali dei culturalisti che sono cari ai cultural studies fin dalla fine degli anni 50, tra la fine degli anni 50 e gli anni 60. Noi questi termini li abbiamo, applicati ai prodotti culturali, cercando di verificare in che modo l'ideologia dominante si esprime attraverso questi nodi fondamentali.
In this course of cultural studies, we had two terms, culture and audience. And in looking at this course in itself, I was able to understand that it is not always wonderful, it is not always good to draw a conclusion on certain people or to begin to have an idea that would not be of a common good, that does not talk about, that does not, that does not really share the view of others. Like we saw films of several cases where people were being killed unjustly. So whatever idea that is to be passed out by whether a president or a government, it has to consider more what the people will support and what the people will appreciate. And in talking about audience, we looked about stereotype. We were able to notice too that in some cases, some people make up their mind about certain issues, and that issue kind of influence their decision and their thinking. And for me, I would say it is not good to draw a conclusion on anybody, but to try to understand individual in their individual cases and to treat them and handle them individually.
So there are two dimensions to the course. One is a classical social science approach to the practice of advertising in its long history. And certainly the last 150 years, there is a very developed and researched history of advertising, its purposes, its effectiveness, the variety of media in which advertising operates, its financial implications, the cost itself, and its support of other free media, and its reception by consumers and audiences. So it's a course which deals with values, it deals with modes of behavior, it deals with communication practice, it deals with theories of communication and tests their effectiveness. And finally, it deals with ethics, social ethics, and the practice of the church to publicly relate to the church's people, the people of God, and the appropriateness of certain kinds of messages, certain kinds of information, certain kinds of persuasion and advertising in that realm.